This is the Engwe Y600 electric scooter, and it even comes with a seat, so it's kind of even like a moped, if you will. But in this video, I want to review it, share my thoughts about it, what it's been like actually using it, what do I like about it, what could be improved about it, and I'll put a link to it in the description below, so let's dive in. Look at this thing. So at the time of this recording, the scooter comes in at a price of $550, which I feel like is right in that middle ground. It's not super cheap, and it's also not very expensive like an extreme scooter. I feel like it's right in the middle range, which would be suitable for most people. I feel like this would make for a awesome, just everyday commuter style scooter. To be able to operate this scooter, you're first gonna need a key, which is kind of nice. That way not anybody can just jump on your scooter and turn it on. So once you turn on your key, then you're gonna have to hold down the power button on your screen, and it's nice that it actually comes with the screen. Not every cheap scooter that I've reviewed will show all the same metrics that this does. This shows you what gear you're in, how fast you're traveling, your odometer, your battery life. That's what's all on the display screen right there. And something that's a little bit different about this compared to other electric scooters that I've tested out is this one actually has a trigger throttle instead of a thumb throttle. So that's just a little bit different. I actually find it to be very comfortable to use it. I never had an issue with it. Maybe the one concern you might have is if you lose control or balance, you might accidentally squeeze it out of like a reaction to hold on, and that will just accelerate you faster. But that never happened to me. Maybe if you're an inexperienced rider that might happen. I don't think it'll happen for most people though. The brakes on this scooter work really nicely as well. They stop the scooter very safely. They have front brakes and also back brakes, and I was able to stop no problem. And then on the left-hand side, it has a button to turn on and off your headlight because it has an integrated light in the front, and it also has tail lights. And it also comes with turn signals, which is kind of cool. They illuminate on the side of the scooter there, and it gives you an audible beeping noise to let you know that it's actually on. That way you don't forget about it, so you can actually turn them off afterwards. The one thing I would say about the turn signals is they're not the most vibrant, so if you're out in the very bright sunlight, they can be a little bit difficult to see, and they're just on the base of the scooter there, so they might be a little bit hard, but at nighttime I bet they'll be a lot more visible for you. I like them though. I think it's a cool touch. Right here on the handlebar, there, now I can set my mic down. Right here on the handlebar, you can actually untwist this as well. And that will allow you to fold the handles down like this. That way it's in a more condensed size. If you ever need to haul it or store it somewhere, it's easy to do that. I typically don't change the handlebars too often just because it takes a minute to screw this down and unscrew it, so I usually just keep them in their standard form like this. You can also change the stem height of this as well. The nice thing about dropping the handlebars low like this is it's way more comfortable to actually ride the scooter when you're sitting down, to be able to drop the handlebars like this. So it accommodates sitting very nicely, and it also accommodates a wide variety of different size riders. If you're really short, you can ride it with the handlebars way low, or if you're taller, you can bring them back up to normal size. The seat can also collapse down in multiple different ways. The reason you would want the seat to collapse down like this is that when you fold the actual whole frame down, the seat doesn't get in your way. The seat is actually pretty comfortable as well. It's really squishy, and then the seat post actually has suspension on it. It's just okay for the seat post suspension. It just does an average job, but I feel like what makes this more comfortable is the fact that this has 10-inch air-filled tires. That really helps absorb a lot of the stones if you're driving on gravel roads, and the tires actually have pretty decent tread on them as well to give you a little bit more traction. But then also on top of that, this scooter comes with front and rear suspension to help just let you glide over top of cracks and bumps and different things like that. The one thing I would say though is that when you're riding this scooter sitting down, when you go at its top speed of 28 miles an hour, it feels slightly unsteady. I feel way more comfortable standing up and riding this going 28 miles an hour than I do sitting down. For whatever reason, I just feel a little bit more squirrely. That might just be me, but I feel a lot better standing up. I feel like I have way more control. So that's something that I just want to point out. One thing I do want to mention though is that when you first get this scooter, it doesn't come going 28 miles an hour. You actually have to unlock that speed level. To be able to do this, you're going to want to hold down the right brake, then you're going to want to turn the key on, then you're going to want to turn on your display up here, and then you're going to want to pump the throttle 3 times in a row, and then let go of the brake, and that will unlock the top speed for you. You're welcome. So let's take the seat off now and show you what it looks like without it. I will say this though, it is a pain in the neck to swap out the seat to that. It is not a quick process. There's a lot of different bolts you have to take off. And then the space where you fit your hand to actually like tighten the bolt and the nut down, it's very small. So it's just time consuming. So for me personally, I wouldn't keep swapping the seat for the bar. If you like the seat, you're probably going to keep the seat on full time. Or if you like just standing, you're probably going to stay standing full time. So it's nice that it has both options for you, but most people will probably just pick one option and stick with it, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to actually standing up and riding the scooter, it's a lot of fun. It's super easy to wheelie. It's super easy to ride safely if you want to just cruise and use it as a commuter. You can have fun with it and you can just use it as a daily rider. So I like its versatility in that regard. The one thing that I did notice is I feel like the stem of this kind of tilts in a little bit, and since this base of it is kind of shorter and condensed, it feels just like I want my foot to have a little bit more room back here. They do give you this little plate here to stand on to rest your heel, but I feel like I just wish the base of it would extend a little bit farther, just because the handlebars kind of come in towards you, so it feels a little bit close. Especially when you raise the handlebars up to be higher, then it really feels more noticeable. So this is really good for like sitting. I feel like the angle of the handlebars and the seat position feel really comfortable, but when it comes to standing, I feel like the handlebars just come in a little bit close, and I wish there was just a little bit more platform to stand on. The width of it though is really nice to stand on. I didn't have an issue with it. Something else that I do want to point out, I know I told you that the top speed is 28 miles an hour, but I feel like consistently when I was riding this, I was at 25 miles an hour. When I was going downhill, sometimes I would hit like 26 miles an hour, but I never really got to 28 miles an hour. I do think the acceleration and the peppiness is pretty decent on this scooter, especially in the 3rd gear, which is the highest speed level. I feel like it operates very quickly and responsively, and it gives you good throttle power to just wheelie, like I said, or going up hills. It didn't seem to struggle with anything like that. I do think it has a 600 watt motor though, so I felt like it had plenty of power to get me around where I needed to go. Another thing I liked with this scooter is changing your speed levels. Since your finger is already right here on the trigger throttle, it's easy to let off that and hit the mode button to toggle between your gears. So it was super easy to change your speeds, especially if you're riding in public. That's super nice to be able to do instead of like taking your hand off the handlebars and then hitting a different button. A lot of times on cheap scooters, you have like a home button. You have to hit multiple times to change your speed level, whereas this is just a simple click of the mode button with your pointer finger. The range on this is 43 miles on one charge, but that'll be dependent on your weight, how fast you're riding it, do you ride up a lot of hills, what terrain are you riding across. Those will all dictate how far you can go on one ride. So overall, I've been pretty pleased with this. I really enjoy taking it out. I feel like it offers you a little bit better features than those really cheap scooters, but then it doesn't rip quite as hard as like the more expensive scooters. So I feel like it fits its price range perfectly for what it offers you. I've been really pleased with it. I feel like it's very comfortable to ride. The suspension, the tires, the seat, or even standing on it, it all felt great, and not a bad choice. There it is, the Engwe Y600 electric scooter. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.